Oh man, what a busy weekend it's been. But a lot of fun and exciting things happening. Emblem Vault becoming revived. We got the Counterparty account talking about Emblem for the first time in like years. Emblem Launchpad reached 1 million in trading volume in 7 days. We have a runner in the ecosystem called Horse. We've got a metaverse called Luna. We've got some Vault games that are being created, AI chess, and much more just being created every single day. What's good, gents?
Bro, FWA is the big news. Obviously, Adam took a bunch of heat yesterday on the timeline. I honestly, I rewatched. I guess there was a part he was on Farouk's show where he's like talked about, the fees, but it was clear to me that he was talking about using the fees going forward, how that was going to be split up. I mean, it was pretty clear from that clip, but people took it all sorts of ways that he was going to retroactively take all the fees from the past, and we're dunking on him and saying it was a scam, all sorts of bullshit. But it was pretty obvious that he was talking about fees going forward. But I think he did the right thing to keep everybody happy, which was he's going to use 30% of the fees he's already collected to, support the token price. And I think people were pretty happy with that response this morning.
Don't you know that if you lose money in crypto, it's your losses, but if you make money in crypto, the community's money,
the community,
not your money. So if you make a successful product, God willing, it is not your and it does not belong to you. But if you lose your money, it does. But those losses do belong to you.
Exactly.
Ride with me, crazy week riding with me. Horse, funny meme. Emblem ecosystem, just extremely impressive. So much going on. Hard to keep up internally, honestly, just from all of us just working on different kind of aspects, but all of it finally being extremely intertwined for the first time in our company's history. We always have so many segmented products, but now finally they all kind of like are working in tandem. And it's really cool to be able to see like the AI and migrations and the Launchpad and just the old school Emblem ecosystem really play such a big role in bringing everything together. So I don't know, if you're not looking at the Emblem ecosystem, I think that you're missing what will be one of the biggest ecosystems in crypto. It probably already is. We just don't really market it as such.
That's what we've been saying for a very long time. It's crazy that the FWA stuff happened on Friday. We haven't even been able to talk about it on the show. Literally haven't even been able to talk about it on the show. So what is this? What is FWA? What is Emblem Wrapped? What is a lot of things? First, we'll start at Emblem Wrapped. This is something that we developed actually inside of Emblem Build. So we haven't published this yet to the App Store in the Emblem terminal, but this is definitely an Emblem Build product. We've simplified the wrapping process and unwrapping process. Gone are the days of manually importing your private key, manually sending. You don't got to do any of that shit anymore. It is a thing of the past. Technology is awesome now. If you go to wrap an asset, remember previously you had to copy the counterparty address, then go to your free wallet to go send it. If you're using Horizon Wallet, it just automatically sends it into the wallet. Same with unwrapping. If you unwrap a Rare Pepe and you have Horizon Wallet added, then it just automatically sends the Rare Pepe into your Horizon Wallet. You don't have to deal with the private keys anymore. Obviously, Counterparty, a little bit of a lesser developed ecosystem than something like EVM or Solana. So the first announcement we had was that you can wrap Collector Crypt. Collector Crypt is a RWA platform popular for tokenizing Pokemon cards on the blockchain, as well as I think they have like comics and a few other things. We did this permissionlessly, so we didn't need to ask Collector Crypt if we're going to do it, although we do have a conversation with them, although I don't really know how they feel about it, but honestly doesn't really matter. Although we would like to work with everybody. Kind of funny, but Collector Crypt, this was actually before.
That's so awesome, dude.
This is actually before we even put out the announcement.
Yeah.
They saw on chain.
This was like 10 minutes before we were going to send an announcement, push post. So
That's crazy.
Kind of a funny timing, but yeah.
They basically came out and gave a note saying that they've been expecting wraps and all these different things to happen, that they see interest in third-party projects. And kind of read to me, it was not your asset, or not your tokens, not your assets, or something like that.
Yeah, totally, man.
Basically, they just kind of saying here is that if you're using third-party tools, then basically they're not your collectibles. It's kind of what I was reading here. The funny part is they said to reach out. So we reached out, and then they asked us what we wanted. And it said, you asked us to reach out. And they're like, well, what do you want? It's like, I'm following up for what you said. So I don't expect much from them. Although we do have a conversation with them, and they haven't really been too responsive. So uncertain, but we are willing to work with everybody. Definitely. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter. I mean, of course they can say that there's terms of service that's been violated or something where they can repossess the NFT. The one thing I learned about how Collector Crypt work is they use something called Metacore NFT standard in PNFTs, which has a lot of programmability to it. So it has like freezability, so they can actually freeze your assets. I'm assuming there's probably like some sort of repossession on it as well. Maybe not. Maybe it's just like Tether where they just freeze it. But yeah, expect something from them. Maybe later, maybe not. We reached out to them, haven't really gotten anywhere with them, but doesn't matter because there's now 500 cards that have been wrapped, and you can actually deposit them into FWA. I think the majority of these are actually deposited in there. There is 506 cards that have been wrapped. I don't think any have been wrapped recently, yeah, since the emissions expired, but got 500 in there and generated a lot of interest. Obviously, TokenWorks, great partner to work with them. Really exciting. We've got all these different tutorial videos, and then this led to today, where we announced that we're working with BZ. BZ, a little bit of the opposite end of Collector Crypt. Highly interested in NFT interoperability. They are all about it. They think it's really cool. You know, they get to extend their brand across chain, and they know a little bit more. They're just fundamentally a little more understanding of maybe interoperability because they started on Flow, and a little bit more crypto native per se. But BZ is now live, so you could go ahead and you can wrap them. We're also working with a handful of other NFT protocols that have reached out about bringing assets to their protocols, which is actually something we talked about 4 years ago when we joined the company 4 years ago, and Chris 3 years ago. That was like the first thing we said was like, NFTs are going to make every NFT company highly competitive. It's going to bring down marketplace fees because now the chains have to compete with each other. It's going to make all of the apps and protocols a lot more competitive because they have to work with each other, and essentially can be kind of somewhat of a winner take all across all the chains. But it looks like Ethereum is running as the NFT chain. Vitalik's probably trembling and shaking because he hates NFTs, but again, doesn't matter if he hates them or not. So it's been good. There we are talking with a handful of other projects as well, and we'll continue adding and supporting. So overall, awesome. And Emblem Vault revival right underway.
What do you
It's
think about
interesting. The collector crypt thing was just, it was funny, like, and shocking a little bit to get that literally right before it was announced. And at the end of the day, look, they hold the actual physical asset. So, these trusted third parties, which we've talked about 1,000 times. Shoot, we've had all these guys on the show, right? When they're actually holding the physical asset, they are the trusted third party. And but the reality is, I think what they were putting out there was this initial shock, and we've seen it in NFTs too, where their 2% fee on what they're making when every time these move, that could go to zero for them. And I think it will go to the zero for them at some point. And this, I don't think, is it, but you almost have to be comfortable with that in some way, because that's just the nature of crypto. And if they stop that and say, no, you can only trade on our platform, they completely limit what's going to happen with them. And I think somebody like a BZ or a Courtyard could come in and take their lunch, because the ability to have that interoperability across chains, different platforms, different experiences, lending, and all this sort of extra stuff that can take place, gotcha games, all this sort of stuff. Like, if it's only going to happen on your website, you put yourself at a significant disadvantage. So I would advise them not to do that. But you never know. People get real crazy when it comes to fees, and people do crazy stuff, and sometimes that wrecks them. So we'll see how it goes, man. But it was wild getting that literally like 30 minutes before the announcement.
Yeah, good timing there. I think it's overall just like a great representation and example of like what Emblem Vault is. Like, it's not a burn and mint protocol. We're actually tokenizing the private key of the asset and trading it across different blockchains. And so if you're going to basically confiscate the NFT, the Pokemon card that backs the NFT, you're stealing from the customer. Like, that Pokemon card doesn't actually belong to Collector Crypt or any of these platforms. It belongs to whoever has the certification to it, right? The deed to it. And so if a company wants to go that route and basically repossess assets, that's a headache that their lawyers will have to deal with. And I'm sure that there's lawsuits that can happen on both sides. But I think just like in terms of like Emblem Vault's view, my view is that it's a permissionless protocol, and all of these physical assets are going to be wrapped and traded across all different blockchains. And like, why would you not want that? You're at the earliest stages of blockchain adoption. These blockchains are going to get so much bigger. Not all the action is going to happen on just Solana. There's going to be different lending rates and borrow rates and different applications. You can use them in, just like FWA, across different ecosystems. Maybe today it's on Ethereum. Maybe tomorrow there's one on Bitcoin. Maybe somehow, by the grace of God, Monad has something that people want to do. People want to bring assets over there. But the most exciting thing is that Emblem Vault is able to have such a variety of assets and such a variety of integrations across literally every blockchain, where we can make this happen all over the place, completely permissionlessly, and nobody can stop us.
Nobody can stop us at all. A lot more coming out of the world of Emblem Vault. Look at Emblem Wrapped. That is the new site. Lots of new features coming there.
It's funny that we finally caved on the nomenclature, and like we spent years shoehorning the vaulting like nomenclature, because that's actually what it is. But people just don't care about the name. It's so nerdy for us to be like, no, it's vaulting. I look back and I'm like, all right, that was kind of nerdy of us.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, actually.
Sometimes you have to, like, we're pushing our glasses up on our nose, like, no, that's vaulting. And it's like, no, people just want to put their assets over there and get it to where it's going. They don't really care. And so I think this was a great move. And Jake really spearheaded this one. So congrats, Jake. Thanks.
Yeah, I maybe it's just because I've grown old as a builder, but to me, call it whatever the fuck you want at this point now. Doesn't really matter to me. Call it the worst thing I want to do is turn into the historical NFT community and just completely neuter myself.
Put your glasses up. No skateboarding on the sidewalk. That's
exactly.
All right, bro. Just wrap the asset. Put the fries in the put the asset in the vault. All right.
Emblem Launchpad reached almost 1.1 million already. So 1,060,000 in trading volume. Looks like there's a lot of action going on Horse. We have 9 bonded tokens, 112 mints. I don't think Jupiter picks up all of our
It definitely does not. Definitely does not.
I wonder if this is just like mints that have any volume, because there's definitely
that makes more sense.
There's definitely been some deployers. I don't know if they're like using the SDK or what, that just, you could tell they're just like AI generated memes for certain. And I think people notice too, because if you follow the emblem agent and you just like look down the list of like all the tokens that are being launched, you could like clearly tell which ones have effort and which ones are just like tests or memes or kind of like a project. There was one, I think yesterday, that was launched. It's called Vault, and it was Vault Games. And that one like bonded immediately. I think people could tell like, oh, this might be associated with something that's not just like a serial deployer. But I assume over time, though, people are going to get smart about how to navigate the emblem trenches and figure out which tokens are right. Probably people are watching different types of wallets and coming up with different types of strategy. I thought this one was actually kind of cool. It's like the X logo with EMB. So some people are neat. I'd like to see, obviously Horse is not an emblem native meme. I really am surprised I've not seen that many Pepe memes. Obviously Coco is there. And so someone has deployed like 10 Coco tokens.
Yeah,
but I definitely,
it's annoying. Like,
I definitely thought we would see a lot more like Pepe type people, like unique Pepe artists. Although I am talking with a few different Pepe artists who said they're going to do something. So maybe it's just one of those kind of slow rolls. But we do have a runner, that's for sure, which is Mr. Horse. Oh, it looks like a lot of trading volume, actually.
Ride with me.
Ride with me. Sitting here at 82K. Deck screener, one thing I've learned with Horse is deck screener is just internally broken. This thing does not track anything right.
Bro, it's time to dethrone deck screener, bro. I saw a post the other day, and we've talked about it a bunch of times now. Bro, the amount of money they make is insane.
They make more than pumps on some days.
It's crazy, dude. It's literally crazy. And all it is it's a chart watching app. What the fuck? And they're charging $300 every time a token fucking launches. Like, bro, who's ready to build this? Like, this might be my first project, man. I mean, it feels like you could attack this. If you could attack it in a way where basically, token launches could list free, but you have to pay in the native token or something like that. Like, I just feel like there's a room here to destroy deck screener. Like, fuck them, bro.
Moby tried to crack this, hasn't done well. Pump even tried to crack this through terminal, still not able to penetrate deck screener's hold. It's the deck screener mafia. Anytime a token's deployed and there's a TG attached, all of a sudden there's like 10 bots in the TG that says, Dex, did you pay for Dex? You definitely know.
Maybe that's our strategy. We just have a bunch of bots who when, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, screener, just going into TGs and asking when. It's crazy. It's the craziest cabal. Imagine, man, every token, $300 off the top. Crazy.
Beast.
It's a beast
mode. Horse is unique. 50% of the supply burned by the original dev, then had 10 more percent that he sold off. It's actually like the top holder now on whatchamacallit, on FOMO. There's definitely some FOMO buyers who've got the horse strategy. I was looking yesterday at some of the traders. Some of the traders were like selling this horse to go buy like a horse on Pump Fund. So there was like some sort of like vamp attack happening, or maybe a horse meta. It's so hard to follow a lot of these meme trenches, but I know one is for certain is that I like horses. The community seems to likes the story, much more natural. 50% burned. Dr. Pepe, who was in the community of the original dev, who I was on the show of, I think it was last Monday. It's crazy. It's only been a week since this token launched. It ran to 400K, and then 50% of the supply was burned, and then fell all the way down to $4,000, which is crazy. So it's like a 99.9% drop. Dead, literally dead, risen from the ashes, and now here it is as the top token in the ecosystem. I like Horses has some good ideas listed on CoinGecko. Top token. They have a project called Horsepower, which they're going to be testing out. You can also go to their site and claim. Maybe we should have Dr. Pepe on the show. I think we should actually have a lot of these people on the show here.
Definitely.
soon to support the eco. We'll give it another week, and then I think 2 weeks is probably pretty good.
Let him rug it one more time, and then we'll CTO it. Chris can CTO it, bro.
Come on, I don't need more work. I got a lot of work.
CTO, the CTO.
With CTO, the CTO.
But they're gonna do this is one of the horses. They're gonna do like a 1,500 horse PFP mint where you burn horse token for the PFPs themselves. I told him, I said, I think he should create a bunch of 101s. That'll be like that would be a way for people to actually like turn these into PFPs, right? And add some like uniqueness to it. I think they could hit it as a PFP actually pretty well. I mean, if you look at it here, like not too bad, decent PFP. So we'll see whenever that happens, but the community is definitely rallying around it. And community is continuing to grow. A few of the other projects to highlight is I put a post out here earlier. Luna, which is created by one of our community members. Luna was a meme coin. This one was Luna was actually the top volume token over horses on day one, and then I've been teasing out. Look at this, like little metaverse. This reminds me of like Pokemon Game Boy or Zelda.
Bro, if that happened in 21, this would be a $70 million token. I'm serious. Remember the rooms and all that shit? Yeah. Holy fuck, bro. Yeah.
The Mooncat Den. Got it right. It does say Mooncat. Shout out to Mooncats. So Luna, the number 2 token in the ecosystem. And then two launches. This is the Vaults one I was telling you about. I know who this is. It doesn't even have any. Some of these people, I had told Arwen this too, who did chess. I was like, bro, you got to put the ticker, the CA, and the link in your bio. How the fuck does anyone know?
People are retarded, bro.
You know, just new builders per se. So like the Vault Hub guy, also there's no link here, right? So he's got it here. So, you know, just these suggestions. Overall, though, I think for us, like that just means we just have to build this into the build terminal. As like these are get your social media account set up, right? Get the domain, get all the random kind of stuff going on. We got an update today about like metadata. We've had to change a few of the creator fees already. So learning process for us, although we were kind of expecting it. When we added CTO capabilities, I didn't think that would literally happen in like the second day. I thought like that was something like down the road. Like you needed like weeks or months before like the token was officially dead. But it turns out a lot of these things can die very fast.
Very fast.
Horse has been resurrected. So these are the 4 that I highlight. The reason why I highlighted them is because I actually know who's behind the accounts, right? I don't know Dr. Pepe per se, but he seems quite committed to the community. So shout out to all the homies. And you know, we'll see where it goes from here as we continue to add a bunch of features. Now that we're a week into this, I'll say one more thing before we do a little bit more round tabling. There's a new migration that's ongoing right now. Snibhu, I think is what it's called. Snibhu, it's like a 4chan meme. I'm not really familiar with this one, but that is also live at 42%. There's a handful of other people who've reached out. A lot of requests for like Robinhood migrations, which we're looking into. A bunch of requests for, mostly Robinhood. And, you know, we'll kind of look. Also, keep in mind, Emblem stakers have been eaten as well. People have been claiming their fees. Things are moving well. Emblem token is now a stable coin at this point in time. Stuck in the $4 million range. One day it'll break out. And whenever it does break out, it'll probably never return whenever that day does happen. But until then, I don't think a lot of people will remember, but crypto before meme coins, you had to hold these tokens for literally years. And like, think these things would consolidate for like a year. It would just be eternal pain for a lot of people. Dogecoin literally consolidated for like outside of like 2 or 3 pump and dumps. It was literally in the same like 20 to 30 set range for literally like 6 years. So I know a lot of the attention starved Zoomers don't understand that, but That's how it kind of used to be.
It's kind of how
we
it was.
we play all the games, but now that we've been a Launchpad operator for 7 weeks or 7 days.
It feels like 7 weeks.
It does feel like 7 weeks. What's your biggest takeaway?
Woo, pumping tokens is hard, man. Very, very difficult. Obviously for us, attracting builders to kind of meet our vision, it's difficult, man. This is like new. And in a lot of ways, I do think like us building stuff is very much on the table. And obviously we are building stuff. We're just building it, and it's just new products from Emblem. It's just the singularity is here. I see it. It's so obvious now. Stuff just in our own internal team to be able to build things literally in a week that we dreamt about building, like dreamt, meaning impossible to build. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And so I'm very, very, the next 6 months, like what happens, I have very little doubt something's going to happen on this platform, and somebody's going to get creative and build something in a similar way to like the success of FWA. Like, wow, that's really incredible. Like he really did that. That's really cool. To have that same impact from somebody who isn't a dev native like Adam is, to be able to put out a product that kind of blows crypto away. I have no doubt that's going to happen in the next 6 months. So just a matter of who's going to do it, man. Who's going to do it, and keep working, man.
That's it. I think, the build platform goes hand in hand with the token launchpad. They really kind of complete each other. If you think of like time to first dollar for an application, it takes months to get an app launched on the App Store to basically maybe make a single dollar, right? You're talking time to first dollar for a crypto application or something launched on Emblem Build. It could be hours, it could be days. You can literally make your first dollar in days, get idea validation, get community support, and kind of go from there. So it's been a week. Obviously, you can't put out the greatest build product in a week. So it's not surprising that a lot of these things are still rough around their edges. People are still getting their head around wrapping a token against an app, but there's no doubt in my mind that this is like the idea of what kind of bridges crypto and like the decentralized web infrastructure together. That makes so much sense to me. Crypto has such a problem with having zero applications and plenty of like literally millions or hundreds of millions of passionate users. And now any single one of those people can become a great builder. And as you see us through Emblem Vault integrate all these different communities and onboard these different communities, like the Pokemon communities, the different RWA communities, the every single blockchain from HBAR to Monad to Stacks, Bitcoin, everything else. We're going to get builders building applications for all these ecosystems on our single platform. And you're going to be able to launch tokens against them across different chains as well. So it just feels so natural of all these products coming together. People have a really hard time looking into the future. And for a small platform like Emblem to do $1 million in the Launchpad in the first week is like incredible, and clearly going to be a big contender going forward in the Launchpad space, but also a different type of Launchpad that no one's really done before. A Launchpad that you can go and start businesses and launch your vision on chain and bring everything together in like one intimate, cohesive, immutable package that hasn't been done before. And so just like the state of the product and looking at it as 1 week, I think the idea has been validated. I think slowly the community is understanding like you need all these tools to build a crypto ecosystem, whether it's dashboards or websites or application games, tools, whatever. But you can do that all in one interface and terminal and immutably wrap it with the token. So, obviously no offense by any means, but a lot of small creators on the platform dabbling around. It's only a matter of time where bigger creators kind of understand like, wow, I can build an app and get distribution and not just launch like a backlist token, meme and ruin my reputation. So the idea has been validated. The volumes are looking good. The community, underrated part is that the community is having fun. If you're not having fun in the Emblem ecosystem, like maybe you shouldn't be in the Emblem ecosystem anymore. Like if it upsets you that people are having fun and trying new things, maybe just go find a different community. But this is like one of the most exciting times. Look at the reach and the surface area that Emblem Vault covers. Look at the different builders that are coming together. Look at the community growth. Look at the amount of posts that are on the timeline. I mean, I can't even retweet them all. I can't even engage with them all. There's like tens or hundreds every day, plus my own, plus the teams. Really firing on all cylinders. Emblem token is inevitable, and I think, like, we're going to start to see these apps scale in quality and distribution and just general growth. Like, as we go forward, this is the way forward for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even just thinking about, I mean, because deck screener is just like this, what is clearly obvious. That if imagine somebody like Ansem just did like, oh, I'm going to do my own deck screener, Ansem screener, right? And it's tied to the Ansem token and it's free to use and everybody can list their token, right? If you're to the deployer, you get to list it. Bro, deck screener is basically a social app, right? I mean, it's like, but it's got no good social features. It's just like, it's the embed winner, but that doesn't mean it has to be, right? And I don't know, there's just so many things that are like that. That I just think they're just incredible fucking opportunity. I just wish I was smarter and had more time,
You got a 180 IQ assistant in your pocket, Adam. You're smarter than
I'm telling you, man. It is like, and this is like, I even just this morning, I'm not going to get into the details, but bro, even this morning, reminded again in our team chat, like I tried basically something about a security issue, hit up Fable. Fable literally wouldn't even, I just got this red bar, like cannot process that request. So I used Opus 5, was basically like, cannot process this request. I can't do this. I can't do that. Just throwing up reasons why it couldn't fucking work, and build fucking threw out that answer in one shot. I mean, it's a fucking incredible product. And anybody who uses it after using Claude or Opus or any of these things is like, holy fuck. What the fuck have you guys done? And I don't know what we did, but it's fucking awesome. Anybody, just use it. You just got to use it.
Yes, sir. So on the stream, GM, I don't know if it's Pravin or Praveen. I would say Praveen, right, with a J, and everything on Ethereum, who operates Shape. Shape reached out. The NFT chain, right, got Xcopy on there and a handful of other ones. I think we'll be doing some business, bringing everything home to ETH.
I mean, it is hilarious, right? The L2s, it's like all this stuff's now moving back to mainnet. Like, how wild is that? And it's funny. Xcopy is like this perfect example, because I don't know if it was a year or 18 months ago when he did that launch on Shape, and we had discussions on the timeline about like what happens, like where will collectors really want to collect this? And it's funny that here it is, like maybe it moves back to the L1. Kind of wild.
Yeah, L2s, it just is like everything in life, especially in crypto. The thing that you build generally not used the way that you anticipated. So the smart builders are the ones who have to make adjustments to it, right? Remember, we thought initially the thing would be to, I mean, just like a year and a half ago, our thought was like you inscribe your NFTs on ETH or Bitcoin, and then you export them to Solana or the L2s.
Yeah.
So now it's going the complete opposite way.
Totally opposite. Totally wrong. I mean,
Totally.
Dude, this is like the thing. You can have ideas, but until you put those ideas out into the wild and let the wild come back with, and tell you you're fucking stupid and wrong, you never know. And that's why you're just encouraging people to try ideas. Like, dude, trying ideas in crypto is rewarded like no other fucking thing. Look at Adam. Bro. He's made $3 million in 2 weeks. Like, bro, you will be rewarded if you bring an interesting idea to life in crypto. You will be rewarded. Bring your fucking ideas to life. And what you realize is most of your ideas are fucking garbage, right? When they meet reality, most ideas don't work, and that's a harsh truth. But until you start putting out ideas, you're never going to fucking know. You got to put your ideas out there.
That you absolutely do. One thing that I had read about, I guess maybe we can even dive into Adam's post earlier in the FWA. I read some interesting thoughts from all sides, right? The VC side of things. So from the VC peeps coming out and basically saying Adam is right to keep all the money, right? Because you need to put the money back into the company to scale. They made 2,000 ETH, right? It's equivalent to like, what is that, $4 million equivalent. And I'll get into that later. But the VC side of people saying keep the money, scale, right? Build out a company, you earned it. The crypto native side of things said that you need to put more money in to buy back the token because they did do a token heavy incentives. And I guess the messaging wasn't quite clear. We've learned this through our own troubles with Emblem. You need to make the message as short as possible. People don't read threads at all. I mean, right? We make the joke anytime we release a product, we put the article out first and leave it for an hour. And nothing happens until you actually put it in a shorter version of a thread because no one cares, right? And Adam tends to be a little bit long-winded, at least in some of his responses, although he's very articulate. And so the farmers were pissed, right? Because they lost out on money or they're not going to be made whole. Maybe it's like some of the OGs who have been playing these farming games for a while, right? And the airdrops are always quite large. But some of these people did put in real capital. So I understand both sides to all of it. Ultimately, Adam came out today and he did the right thing. He came in and listened to his community, made adjustments. Now, moving the buyback from 10% to 30%, is that really going to make a difference? Probably not. But it at least makes everyone feel heard. You're building an on-chain product. We know building on-chain products, not easy, right? The on-chain product is actually the hardest part. The tokenomics you can change. Like that stuff can be changed. The on-chain product cannot be changed once it's there. So I think he's, doing the right things. And he's actually said this openly, that the tokenomics will change and be adjusted over time. One thing I actually wasn't aware of, and maybe he should have made this clear in the very beginning, they were actually only making 63% of the total revenue this whole time. The other 30% was going to the SO2 season 2 holders, which, if you remember, they sold, I think it was like 200 or 300 of those NFTs.
Yeah, like 300 NFTs.
Right? They made like 300 ETH or something like that off of that. So maybe you could say they deserve that. And then I don't know what Tito is. So 63%. So, right, that takes it down a little bit. But basically now, to make everyone a little bit happier, they're going to put 327 ETH into the chart. Now, I mean, a lot of the people have sold already. So, maybe that happens now. Maybe it's like he's the gigabrain strategy where he wanted to FUD so he could get a better entry for his own tokens. One of the other interesting things that I was reading about, they don't own any of the token, right? They basically emitted everything. So they have to buy the token back through it. And what I saw some of the community members saying is that the initial amount of 10% buy it back wasn't enough. It didn't give a strong enough signal to the community that they would buy enough of the token treasury to be substantial enough to incentivize them to continue building the token, which I can totally understand that, right? I mean, Emblem was in this situation before. When Ami joined the company, Emblem owned 1% of the token, right? So it changes things around. And so I can understand it from all perspectives, but I think the announcement today at least seemed to get everyone in the right direction. I mean, he has an amazing product, and it speaks to the thesis that we've been talking about for the last 18 months, is that the NFT's next era, we were talking about this at ETH Denver last 2 ETH Denvers ago in 2025. The next era for NFTs is applications. Meme coins just showed the playbook last cycle, right? Meme coins went through their application era, which ended up being launch pads, which are now super popular. NFTs have to go through their application era. And TokenWorks, I thought strategies was going to be it. Turns out it's probably FWA. Hopefully he doesn't abandon this one like the other ones, but I think he'd be crazy too. The on-chain gotcha product is right. And the one thing Adam has said is that he has abandoned past products and that it seems like that they're going to stick with it, right? So obviously there's got to be a lot of trust here, but hopefully this is a good sign to lead NFTs into the application era. Final point on the rant is NFTs are not a profitable business for most people learning it, right? Once they took the marketplace or the royalties away, the only things that were profitable were marketplaces for the most part. So the NFT community has to find ways to generate revenue now, and it's been hard, right? For Emblem, that completely changed the business model of making royalties to going to minting fees, which is not a sustainable model. But TokenWorks is here, Emblem is here, Gandhi's kind of found a way to generate revenue for all these different types of ways. And if the NFT community works together, there's no doubt you create whatever the next pump fund is going to be for NFTs. That'll, not saying it's a launch pad, but whatever that like winning medium is there. And people love NFTs. That's the one thing that rallies everyone in crypto is definitely NFTs. It's not meme coins. It's not Bitcoin. The thing that seems to connect everyone is definitely NFTs.
Yeah, I'm not, what he's done and what Adam did. Well, he did a couple really smart things with the FWA. The first was making it about the token, which you have to kind of play to earn this token, which you can't really buy in the open market. Like that was just really, really smart. It created that speculation layer. I think, what we're doing here with BZ, obviously with Collector Crypt, the underlying asset, do you want to actually hold this thing, right? So the gotcha mechanic, which also, two things I think he did really well. The second was this gotcha mechanic, the instant buyback and putting ETH against these NFTs was the other thing, which I thought was really well done. But do people want to actually hold the NFT? And I think they do if it's a punk. But what we've seen from the gotcha mechanic so far with FWA is people want the ETH, right? Or they want that token, which has a speculative value. And I do think there's like this opportunity, especially with the Pokemon cards and stuff, where people do want those assets. They do want to win that. And so, people do want to win. I want to win a CryptoPunk, right? So people do want that. So I do think it's going to be interesting to see here how once this token is fully live, where this goes. Because as he said, there are lots of different arms he can pull, and he has a real, first mover advantage to make this work long term. Whether he can or not, bro, it's hard, right? And there are going to be other opportunities for other teams to take this to the next level as well. So it's going to be really exciting. And having this ability, I think he's now come up with the mechanic, on-chain mechanic for this gotcha, which everybody loves. It's just a question of like what NFTs you want to hold. People could do really selective gotcha machines. There's a lot here for NFT collectors. So I think he paved the way. So it's going to be exciting kind of couple months here, I think.
Yeah, I think the space is brand new. It's one of my favorite spaces ever. Just speculative internet casinos with some sort of asset that people are interested in. Like people love NFTs. Being able to put watches in there, being able to put a car in there if you want, a title to a car or a tokenized car you can redeem. Just all different types of digital assets that the global scale is so crazy for a single app. He's a single guy. I think he lives here in America. I think he was in New York last time we talked to him.
There's two guys on the team.
Anyways, don't want to dox them or anything, but that they're here in America, and to have a website and some sort of speculative vehicle that anyone from around the world can play digitally, that is totally madness. If you think of like legacy casinos, that's impossible to get regulation and licensing out the gate. And he made $4 million in his first week. Talk about some sort of validation from the market that you should probably continue working on this. And obviously it's going to bring in more competitors. It's going to bring in a more diverse, application spread and product line. And I think like the whole market as a whole is going to grow. But, we've been saying for like 2 years, like digital Pokemon cards were an aha moment for a lot of people. If you're a collector, you collect things. It doesn't matter what they really are. Jake's been a collector. Adam collects a bunch of stuff. You have things that you like more than others, but you understand the collector landscape and you can appreciate assets from all different varieties, So is an antique card collector that different from a Pokemon card collector? No, they're just like collecting like nostalgic memories from their childhood or whatever kind of time frame that they really kind of connect with, but they're all the same and they can all appreciate different aspects of those industries. So Adams, it's a gotcha machine, which is kind of like a melting pot of so many different assets. There's been talks of maybe separating pools and things of that nature, but I think like the randomness really, really makes it fun. Most of those people are just there to gamble. They do want like the highest value assets. So the recycling machine is the way to go, where they just pull something, recycle it back for whatever price, and just kind of spin again. But I think there's going to be more variations of this type of application, and I think the space is going to get really big.
We actually have the Tito's actually in the audience right here, so he's the
Nice.
that's really cool to see him down there, and
Everyone's
yeah,
stuff on
just
hang.
to give him the props, like the on-chain mechanics for the gotcha machine. Like we'd literally talked about it for months, like how you would do that successfully, and for them to be able to come up with it, which is not like obvious to do, and they did it in a really elegant way. So props to them, really well done.
Chris, little history fact. Chris and I live in Vegas, right? Same age, worked in the hotel industry. Chris and I were hosting NFT meetups, the biggest NFT meetups in Vegas in 2021, 2022. When we were talking with the Nevada Gaming Control Board about bringing crypto to Vegas, the one product we were pitching them was an NFT slot machine. That's literally the idea we were trying to get the Gaming Control Board to do in the casinos. So this is like the 2025 version of it, which is a lot more randomness and uniqueness to it. And yeah, I think Chris is definitely right. This idea is just going to bring in the NFT application era. So you'll see all different varieties, competitors. I mean, there was somebody in the Emblem ecosystem who created rare world assets. I don't think it had products launched or anything, but somebody was toying around with the vibe coding terminal to create like their own on Solana. There's so many things you could do with NFTs, because NFTs not only can represent real world assets, right? Obviously, you could do things like real estate, Rolexes, and all of those that have been explored, not just Pokemon cards. They also introduced the baskets, right, of ERC20s. If we put Emblem Vault in there, you could do Bitcoin, right? You could do Bell's coin. You could do a basket of whatever you want, kind of thing. Yeah, I did see the RIP one. The RIP product was cool. Actually, one of the most. So Praveen says Ripe created a pool with poolproof.fun. One of the best validation metrics is actually people building apps on top of your product, right? So for us, Emblem, right? Emblem build is like the biggest validation. 200 builders, 50 active right now, building on top of like the Emblem Vault tech stack. People building on top of, right? Essentially, Emblem is building on top of FWA, right? Like that's kind of a possibility there as well. And you continue, right? If we bring BZ into FWA, there's like 2 different layers that are on top of that on-chain protocol. Those are like the best validations. But what Chris was saying is that you're going to see all different competitors, but also different variations. When we saw the meme coin launchpad explosion, how many different launchpads did we see? It was just like in the NFT era. How many different NFT marketplaces did we see? There was LooksRare, right, which did like the gamification. You had Blur that did the Blur farming. OpenSea was the standard because it was one that sat there forever. Saw photography marketplaces and all these different ones. Actually, Adam and I joined Emblem because we wanted to build a historical NFT marketplace. So you could see the kind of second and third order effects that happen from that. And I'm excited. I mean, that's what NFTs need. The assets are bearer assets. Robinhood coming in now. They want to be the RWA chain. Maybe they mean RWA for fungible tokens. And that ETH ends up being, the NFT chain for NFT gamification. But man, nothing rallies the entire natives like NFTs and their precious PFPs.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah, these things, I mean, you can't even underestimate the scale of the world. You look at, we live in Vegas. The casinos operate the entire city. Like, we don't pay state tax because the Nevada Gaming Commission pays taxes on behalf of the citizens, the residents that live here. And I mean, just that's like one small city of 2.5 million people that's just completely overfunded, basically. When you bring in 8 billion people with the opportunity to win life-changing money or life-changing assets, and it has that illustrious draw to it, it's just so exciting. You think back to like the 90s or 80s, early days of casinos, you can spin a slot machine and possibly win a jackpot, but then like the biggest, most popular machines were, it had a Ferrari on top of it, and you can play the slot machine to potentially win a Ferrari. Did people want the Ferrari? I'm not really sure, but if they didn't want the Ferrari, then they can sell the Ferrari back to the casino and take a lump sum for like 50% of its wealth. And so like this mechanic has been done over and over again. but we've never been able to see it on decentralized rails where you can have a global scale. There's no one checking your ID to see if you're pulling the FWA mechanic. Not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that that's the fact of the matter. And so the scale that and just the distribution that you can reach for a mechanism like this in its earliest days is just like totally mind-blowing. You're going to see global raffles that are the biggest things in the world, where you think of like a Powerball can pay out $1 billion. Well, the decentralized global raffle can pay out 10 billion or 50 billion, like truly global life-changing money that's accessible to some guy in Kenya or some rancher in Denmark or whoever it might be in Malaysia. Like, it's just crazy. So when you think of units of scale, the human brain can't really comprehend how big these things are going to be. But I promise you, these are going to be gigantic.
Man, exciting.
Yeah, bro.
We've been talking about this for a while. It's given Emblem a revival. So shout out to TokenWorks for bringing back Emblem. You know, we explored the NFT interoperability at the top of last year. We built out our whole Emblem V2, which was to take Emblem to different chains. We were talking with like Abstract and Base and Merlin Chain and all of these other ones of like exporting your NFTs to these ecosystems. And there was interest, and then it just faded. And so Rare Pepe has always been like the biggest use case of Emblem. And we knew at some point in time the NFT interoperability sector would explode at some point. We weren't really sure what, but this is it. Yeah, Fake World Assets is definitely the reintroduction of Emblem. Also, the tech got a lot better too. The Emblem,
Totally.
the Emblem experience was not great for a very long time, right? And it wasn't really until Claude Code, right, came up to where we could go in and build these intricacies. I mean, the pain in the ass of building Emblem, I've had to hit up Phantom like 5 times because there's these different warning labels that come up for all these different chains. And it's like Solana has a warning. Now ETH has a warning. And then it's like, oh, ETH has a warning again. And I literally have like a chat with Phantom. And he's just like, I might just have to just whitelist your guys' website because there's so many nuances to this. There's like, oh, you're wrapping ordinals. Oh, you're wrapping shape. Oh, you're wrapping this. And there's a different transaction order that causes all of these issues. So, there's a reason why Emblem was starting to be built 10 years ago. 2016 is when Emblem started, right? Hit main chain in 2020. And AI has just really enhanced that experience. So now Emblem wrapping and unwrapping is all automated. The agent helps with building the auto send. Before, when you wrapped a vault, you would have to basically go get the deposit address, then go over to what wallet you're using, paste in, send it over. Now that's all automated, it's just clicking buttons. The unwrapping process was even bigger pain in the ass, right? It was like you had to unwrap it, get the private key, go import the private key, send Bitcoin or ETH or whatever to that wallet to pay for the gas fee to send
bro,
it
it's
out.
amazing anybody did it, bro. It literally is unbelievable that anybody even did that shit. Like, it's crazy. How much
there's
money?
There's still 100 and well, if Tito's here, we got to get Rare Pepe added to Fake World Assets. I know it's ERC 1155, which has its own complexities that we're aware of, but we have $100 million in Rare Pepes sitting there waiting to be used. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them want to do it. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Rare Pepe community is quite random. They scoff at a lot of things, and then there's one random thing that they just go all in on. It tends to be how they work. But there's literally, I think we have like 50,000 or 60,000 Rare Pepe vaults sitting there. There's literally the most expensive NFT sale. The Rare Pepe that sold for $3.5 million is in a vault on ETH. It's literally sitting there. It's literally sitting in a vault on ETH. All of Punk 6529's Rare Pepes are in vaults. They have like $10 million in Rare Pepes sitting in vaults. So we have a good relationship with them. So that's a lot of potential there. Fake rares and stuff like that as well. But Rare Pepe, as we know, $300 million asset, majority of that values sitting in vaults, waiting for things to do. So nothing gets me more hyped than NFTs, man. But God, industry needs to figure out how to monetize these things. It's tough. That's what's coming. What's up, Bratoshi? Good to see you. Yeah, legend. I know he's been I gave him a build access as well. He's been building some stuff. Pretty crazy. There's literally 49 active build accounts of 194 that's been created. Oh, 50 actually. It might be a record. literally 25% of build accounts. People are literally building apps right now. That is insane stickiness.
Yo, Tito, shoot us a message, man. I think he might be closed. I just followed him, and I don't think I can send a message. But bro, I'd love to hook you up with a max plan so you could build some shit using Emblem Build, bro. Just send me a DM, bro. Happy to hook you up.
They've got their own. They've got their own things they handle with TokenWorks.
Oh, I know. But so these, these top level devs, they're always fucking around with some shit at the side. Like to make it easier for you.
I honestly got rid of my Claude subscription, my Gemini subscription. I mean, today we were doing some things and we were trying to validate some transactions and stuff, and Build was the only one that could do it. Build a lot of stuff. It actually works just significantly better. It's crazy. That's definitely the moat, again, to AI, is being on chain. That is going to be the moat. I still don't see, we were saying this last year when we had realized after we were building the AI terminal for about 6 months, Claude is not going to come out with Claude crypto and wipe out all of these companies. That's just not going to, it's just not going to happen. The culture reinforces it as well, but that's just one thing that I find hard for AI to disrupt is going to be crypto rails.
Yeah, it's so obvious that if you're in crypto, you know how big crypto is going to be. That's why you're here, for the opportunity to grow basically a new age internet. And just like the fact that all of the on-chain is so technical, there's so many different nuances between community standards and community acceptance and what you can build and the ways to build things and the openness and the permissionless nature of it. And just the sheer benefits that crypto adds to the world, whether it's borderless, permissionless, open 24 hours a day, access to anyone, available with an internet connection. Like, these are 100x industry improvements from the traditional rails. And to kind of mesh AI into it and really power like a internet native, crypto native AI infrastructure is like total no brainer. So undoubtedly that this is the right path, and it's crazy that we're the only ones kind of building in that direction, and we're kind of really taking off with the races. So ride with us.
Ride with us. Right. Yeah, technically now. Be looking forward to all of that. Man, it's only Tuesday. These last 2 months, literally in 2 months, we built Emblem Staking, Emblem Build, Emblem Launchpad, and then the Emblem Wrap. All 4 of those products in the last 2 months. Some extreme
and
levels
just
of
like shipping. It's not going to stop. Like, I don't know, like if people aren't getting that. Like, there's no stopping. Like, there's the messages. There's nothing stopping the train. It's funny, but it's like, once we get more products, we're just going to launch more products. Our products are only going to get better. Once the products are better, we're going to launch more products that are better. Like, there's no end game here. It's just completing and growing the surface area of the ecosystem. It doesn't end. There's no end point. So if people haven't realized that, then they should really kind of pay attention, because there's no maturity of the Emblem Vault ecosystem. It's so vast. It's so powerful. It has so much potential, and we're here to take the cake. So get ready for the ride. Ride with us.
We have 7 people on the team. Everyone is literally a dev now, and everybody, all the.
What's DEF CON coming up? I'm like, shit, we can all go to DEF CON now.
Yeah. We have 4 front-end devs and 3 back-end devs. It's kind of crazy. And the front-end devs are also the go-to-market team at the same time. And you have 1 front-end dev that kind of does back-end as well. It's the middle ground. It is truly a new world that we're in, but appreciate everyone for joining us today. We host a show Tuesday and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do another roundabout show or roundup show. The end game is crypto application domination. Literally, like, just crypto infuses with everything. Probably won't even be called crypto 10 years from now. It'll just be the norm. But then next week, I think we should start getting back to guests again, now that everything is getting a lot more attention. Maybe we could bring the TokenWorks guys on. Tito, I don't know if you do guest shows, but that'd be cool to have you on, or maybe we'll get Adam here. Got to have Luna, who's in the crowd. The Rare World Asset team. Don't know who that is. The Horse CTO and everything else. We'll bring it back. That's what we used to do, is just guest shows for many years. It's crazy, Adam. We've been hosting this show for almost 4 years already.
1,000 years, bro.
It's been 3.5 years since we started the show.
Insane, dude.
It is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, but appreciate everyone for listening. Stay safe out there. Participate in the fake world. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday.